Hey everybody, today is Tuesday, December 18th, 2018. We're at the central campus of Central Piedmont Community College, and recently I did a final tour of the Terrell building, and as you may see, they are starting asbestos abatement on it. They're putting scaffolding up around the exterior. The whole thing's going to go up in a giant tent, and they got to remove asbestos contained materials from the exterior, and they're also having to remove asbestos materials from inside the building as well. Tonight we have another vintage building on the central campus that's going away very soon that we're going to go take a look at. That is the Hagemeyer Learning Resource Center. This building was built in 1968, right around the time the Terrell building was, though I believe Terrell building got started a bit earlier. I think it was under construction during '67 and opened in '68. This building opened in '69. The college is replacing both these buildings with a new student success center and new library. So join me as we go inside to take a few last looks through this building. This building is huge. Okay everybody, we are inside the lobby of the library. The library is actually locked off right now, though I do have permission to be in here, and I did get out the authorization. And I'm actually staff here, and my card access did work on the back elevator. The reason why they had to close everything off and only allow like library employees and stuff in here is because, unfortunately, we've had some vandalism in this building. I think some of it may have been done by students. Back right before the crack building was demolished, it was after the end of the semester, of course. The staff who worked in there actually signed the wall, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, the writing on the wall is not really the vandalism I'm talking about. You'll see it. It's upstairs. So this is the front desk of the library. It's right in front of the access door. And parts of this building have been renovated over the years. Some of this was renovated, I think, in the early 90s. There are some areas that were renovated in the earlier 2000s. So we're going to take a good look at the first floor. And it is kind of a mess because the division is moving out. They're packing stuff up and they're getting ready to move. It's after the end of the fall semester. And I want to tour this building without there being a bunch of people in here. It's for privacy concerns. I don't want to, because you know some people get uncomfortable when there's a camera. Library has a lot of these group study rooms. They're all over the place, which is to be expected. That's what people come here to do. They come here to study for their schoolwork. They come here to use the computers. Of course, things have changed over this building's half-century lifespan. We didn't have computers back in the, or at least we didn't have PCs back in the 60s. It was mostly just conventional books and whatnot. I want to say about 15 years ago, they renovated this spot with a coffee shop. I think it's a college-run coffee shop. At one point, I think it was called Victory Coffee. Now it's Coffee and Tea. It's like this. It's like the college-run equivalent of a Starbucks, I guess I could say. You know, you'd have your coffee. You'd have like baked goods, stuff like that you could purchase. Sometimes I think they even had fresh made cookies here and stuff like that. And one thing you might notice by now is this building was like one of the very few buildings from the college's early life that did not have the big squares in the ceiling, the 5 foot by 5 foot modules with the 8 by 4 foot fluorescent in the center. You can see most of this is just emptied out furniture and, of course, boxes and stuff everywhere because everything's getting packed up. As we continue in this direction, this here I believe was a seating area. Another group study room. You'll notice we have lots of those. And you can see they retrofitted a lot of the outlets here with USB charging ports. Yeah, you got to modernize an old building some way. See, I think what's actually going on here is, library staff, they started sounding the walls and everything, and I think that and the vandalism that happened upstairs, they wanted to protect this building as much as possible until the end. I knew some of the staff here at the library, nice people. And hopefully this video will help former students and staff members remember this building. That's the main reason of why I'm doing this. Back here was a computer lab, which the computers have already been taken out and they're using it as stage furniture for the move. We continue our trip around this way. Now this here is a fire exit now, but back in the day this didn't used to be a fire exit. Where it says alarmed fire door, fire door. This library for many years has had this, well, since it was built, had this walkway around the outside of the first floor, and out there is a green space. Now throughout this video you're going to see me supplement some of this footage with footage I took yesterday. Yesterday was when I was in here, the sun was about to set and I got some good footage of that. This building makes pretty good use of natural lighting. It looks like they've had some issues with water leakage. See a big old stain in the carpet there. Like they had a pipe bust in the bathroom or something. With these older buildings, it's the underlying problems are a lot of times what you don't see. Issues with plumbing, electrical, roof leaks, stuff like that. This building, when it was built, had 4 stairways in each corner. They have one here, one there, one you can't see, and one over there. This one in particular, in the mid-70s, they retrofitted it with an elevator. This building used to have just one elevator, and they installed this one up front. That way people walking in would have a much closer trip to an elevator. And also a bigger elevator. This one here is a bit bigger than the one in the back. This here is a 1975 Dover. Which I think in the early 90s got innovation fixtures put on it, but they did retain the original floor indicators. And with this building, it's like the only building here, the vintage buildings, that the elevators didn't really receive much retrofit. This elevator and the elevator in the back are still in the original controllers. This one uses the slot card system. It's in the 1970s, Dover used TTL logic slot cards in a lot of their controllers. The back elevator is relay logic, and just wait till you see it. For those who watch my videos, I've done tours of the elevators here before, so you may know what we already have. But for those who are new, you'll get to see in a moment. Now let's go up to the second floor. If you thought the first floor was interesting, oh, just wait. We're just now getting started. Look at this. This huge atrium with skylights up top. I tell you guys, this building is a work of art. Here you have some empty showcases, which of course they had stuff in them earlier. The old CPCC podium. Yeah, some of the college's older logos, or at least the few I've seen, the square was much bigger than it is now. There's the current logo. Get another look at this open area. And you can see writing on the wall that I don't think was authorized. The other areas, I think, had something on the wall telling you that you could write on the wall, just sign your goodbyes. But it looks like people here were playing a game of something. It looks like a scoreboard of something. And look at there, another group study room. And what's that behind there? Yep, that's what I was talking about. Somebody come up here and vandalize this floor in areas. Now this was an area that was authorized. You can see the writing on the wall, what will you miss? Somebody did a pretty nice illustration of Hey Arnold. Yeah, this is what they were talking about. People signed the wall and then somebody knocked the wall out in spots. I mean, I understand the building's going away, but seriously? You gonna vandalize it? Whoever did this should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm sure it was not a college employee. Rest in peace, library, 1968 to 2018. Well, technically, it's gonna get to see a little bit of 2019. But yeah, it went through about 50 years of service, because it opened, I believe, in 1969. And I tell you, vandalism is a big problem in older buildings like this. Not just because this crap, but in older buildings, some of the materials contain asbestos. This ceiling here, now I don't know for sure, but I've looked up asbestos-containing ceiling tiles on Google before, and I've seen images of ceiling tiles look just like that. And asbestos, asbestos materials, as long as they're not disturbed, is fine. But if you go to break something or disturb anything that has asbestos in it, then it becomes a serious hazard. Now, this drywall here is a whole lot newer. This wall here was put in at some point later on. A matter of fact, this third floor was put in at a later point. It didn't used to be there. Let's have a look in here. Room 205. And you can see where they knocked the wall. They knocked it out from the hallway side, or from the other side. Such a shame. I mean, yeah, I understand that they're going to be demolishing the building, but that doesn't give you the right to just go crazy and knock holes in the wall. I remember when I was doing my final photo shoot of crap back in early 2017, someone had went in and vandalized the bathroom and wrote F crap on the mirror in the boys' room, or the men's room rather. Look at this. Thankfully, we have archives to keep you in the memory. And we'll also have this video. There's a couple of offices there. It's a, with libraries, of course, you typically come here to relax, read a book, study for your class, or what have you. Yeah, this setup here is definitely nice for that. The atrium, which you may have seen some footage by now of it during the day, but I'll definitely be including some. But the way the sunlight comes in here, it just lights up, and it's beautiful. In my opinion, it's unfortunate that the college chose the demolition and replacement route, because you'll have a hard time replacing something like this. Now, I'm sure the new library will also be very nice, but this building was famous. For one, it was named after the college's first president. It contains the Pease Auditorium, which will be featured in this video. Matter of fact, even the Bojangles up on the corner of 3rd Street and Charlottetown has a photo of this library building right inside the front door. There's the back elevator, which we'll be taking a look at soon. It's after dark now. Oh man, I'm a bad guy. Please, no conversations. Just sitting right here catching up on your math homework. Or studying for a test. Straight ahead is the college archives office, which around the corner here you can see this whole wall here is dedicated to display the history of CPCC. I did do a video, I think about a couple years ago, of this wall. And all the display cases and stuff were still in here. They had some neat stuff in them. So I'll have to go back and find that video on my channel and link it here. See if I remember to do it. So if you'd like to look at this in detail, I'm going to feature a second video shot with this camera in full HD. Have a look at this. This is a photo from when this building opened in 1969. You can see the atrium looked a little bit different then. The 4th floor, which is right there, instead of having glass walls that had those railings, kind of like in a mall, like you would see in a mall. It was the 3rd major building to be completed in CPCC's first master plan. Of course, I do believe the 2 other buildings are the Van Avery building and the Terrell building. Now, I'm not 100% certain on this, but I don't think this 3rd floor used to be here. I think it was probably put in at one point. Now, don't quote me on this, but I'm thinking it was put in. You'll see why in a moment. Let's head upstairs. And I'm also going to include some additional footage from yesterday with the sun setting. One last look at this floor. We'll actually be walking back down here. Say hello to Mr. Security Camera. Yeah, they have lots of security cameras in here. Yeah, by the way these stairs are, I'm just not 100% certain that this floor was always here. Yeah, this is primarily the book stacks. Now a lot of the books have been taken out already. At least they've been taken off the shelves. But there are some books still here. I'm not sure if they are keeping those or what's going on with them. These are some pretty old books. Some of them are. I see some books that are dated from the 70s, even the 60s. I mean, just think back before the days of computers. This was how you researched. You went in, you'd use the card catalog and locate a book. This was how research was done before the days of the internet. I remember the tail end of those days when I was a young kid. Because, of course, the internet was still catching on back when I was younger. Back then, research was still primarily, books were still primarily favored for doing research back then. This really tells the story of this building's history. How much times have changed since this building was built versus now. This is like one of the first times being up on this floor. I don't think I've ever really come up to the third floor. One neat thing about this library is you look out back, you can see we have a little bit like a green space. And there's a walkway right there. I don't think it's open anymore. I have not really looked for sure, but there's a walkway that goes around the sides of the building. There's your view of uptown Charlotte. And of course, traffic backed up as usual on I-277, getting on to US 74. Have a look at this doorway here. There's a sign that I think this was put in, because you can see where they had to knock a hole in the wall to put this doorway in. More books. More books. And down here are some more books. So we can get a view of what the place looked like before they started moving stuff out. Walk around the corner here. This is where the elevator's at. Used to be a stairway. Sun shining right in the window. Yeah, the design of this building allows for a lot of natural lighting, which can be more relaxing than, you know, fluorescence. There's the Terrell building. They've already started demolition on it. It's undergoing asbestos abatement right now. Have a look at here. That's possibly vandalism too. Lots and lots of books. Here's a look downstairs. Pretty much, this is what this floor here is. This is books and books and books. And lots of nice views, but just wait till we see the fourth floor. It gets better. Now we'll go head back down to the second floor. Get a few last looks before we go upstairs to the fourth floor. We'll take the back elevator this time, since I haven't shown it yet in this video. It's an old 1960 Otis bottom drive traction elevator. Not only is it mostly original with the exception of a slap-on mod, just a really just nothing much more than an innovation carpeting panel and a electronic door obstruction sensor. Here it is right there. It's smaller than the one up front. This one accesses all 5 floors of this building. Yes, this library has a G level, which we'll go take a look at that later on. Look at this old call station. Old Otis black button. This is a pretty rare elevator. Man, I love how this thing rides. It's fun to ride. This thing has 2 speeds, high and low. High and slow. It's a 2-speed AC motor rather than a DC machine. Bottom drive. Now we're on the 4th floor. We'll start out by looking at the hallways here. Again, just like other parts of this building, they are getting ready to move. Let's have a look in this multi-purpose room. This is a room that got renovated at some point. You can see the ceiling is much newer. The lights are a whole lot newer. It's like, man, I wonder what the college is going to do with these lights. Well, because a lot of their newer buildings on campus have these exact lights right here. Hopefully they save some, that way they'll have some spares. You got this multi-purpose room. I guess it was commonly used for meetings and stuff like that. There's a look into the atrium. Now, if you remember from what we saw in the archives photo, there used to just be a handrail right there, and this was like open air design, which I think is pretty cool. But I think the reason why they put that glass there was to it was probably, I don't think it was a safety issue. I think it was more of a noise issue, because I'm sure with all this open area, noise would carry big time. So let's have a look. As you see, they have all the lights on. In here. Yeah, this building and the Terrell building are lit up like a Christmas tree. The reason why the Terrell building's lit up so much is because of the interior demo that's going on, the asbestos abatement, the demolition of the drop ceiling and stuff like that. Sun's about to set. Now look at the Terrell building. It was also built in 1968, or it was completed in 1968. It may have been built in like 1966, or that's probably when the construction may have started. There's Elizabeth Avenue. And as I mentioned, the Terrell building is lit up like a Christmas tree. This area here used to be a study area. They had computers and stuff up here. And there's a whole group of fans just chilling out. Various fans of different types. This was known as the Learning Commons. Yeah, by popular demand, all right, this place was always busy with students. Like there were some days when the front elevator that poured over, it was constantly going up and down non-stop between 1 and 4. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. People coming and people leaving. We walk this way. We'll be walking into an area that was renovated kind of recently. It's kind of like that media, that multi-purpose room in the back. Kind of renovation. I think this was probably renovated maybe around the time Overcash was constructed, perhaps. Because it's funny, I noticed the ceiling tiles are exactly like the ones in Overcash. Same texture and everything. The lights, however, are a little bit different. This area here was offices for, primarily for English instructors. Which, unlike in the Terrell building, I don't think I'm going to be able to get you in the office views. To our left here is the conference room. You can see more new lights. New ceiling, newer air diffusers and everything. You know, it surprises me with the amount of renovation work they've done to this building that they wouldn't just, you know, renovate the rest of it. But from my understanding, I think it's a cost issue, and with many public institutions like this college, they have to sort of go the cheaper route. So all these building materials that were put in probably 10, 12 years ago, or maybe 15 years ago, will be getting ripped out. Yeah, I really don't want to look in an office unless it's empty. Because these offices were people's home, away from home. I'd rather look at an office that doesn't have personal stuff in it, you know. A lot of times you'll have family photos and things like that, and that's not what I want to have on here. Walk this way. We exit back into here. And around the corner is the way we went in. And right there is the little cut-in. More old ceiling tiles. And I think some of these ceiling tiles up there are also original to the building, but they're different than these. There's a 4th floor entrance for the elevator. Walk this way. Here's a lounge. Which of course has lots of stuff that's getting moved to the new location. Yeah, the library is moving into the old Advanced Technology Center. Look at that microwave. How old is that thing? That thing's probably from the 70s. Man, this atrium, it just reminds you of a mall, probably from this building's time. Just like where we're standing right now, there used to be a handrail and this used to be open. At least from the photo anyway. I tell you, this is a gorgeous building. around this way. And we came back to where we was. Look at those old ceiling tiles there. Had the same texture as some of those panels in Terrell. Well guys, let's get one last look at this floor. Now that we've explored the fourth floor of the library, maybe when you just thought oh, okay, that's it. Actually, it's not. You may have already heard me say that, but now we're going to check out the underground, as I call it. And to get there, you got to use the back elevator. Again, I love this elevator. It really saddens me to see it go. 2-speed AC motor, 1968 Otis bottom drive traction. This is a rare elevator. Umbrella. It's actually raining right now. This is a different day I'm shooting this portion. Leave this here for now. But we're now in the underground. Technically, it's known as, well, they've called it a few different names over the years. I've seen them refer to it as the garden level. I've seen it referred to as the ground floor. Technically, we have two levels here. We have the G level and the Pease level. We'll be checking out that here after a while. And this is really interesting. Some people don't even know this exists. Heck, I didn't realize this existed for at least a couple of years. Here's a corridor that accesses the north entrance to this floor. And as I've mentioned before in the video, I do believe, this is like the only building here from the 60s. You know, the 60s and early 70s time period that did not have the big square ceiling modules with the 2-foot, 4-foot fluorescent in the center. This right here is just your typical what I like to call supermarket ceiling is the rectangular tiles. It's mostly just offices down here, a couple of classrooms. The college photographer is on this floor. You got some old vending machines there. Well, not old, but well, if it starts up, you'll think it's old. It's all get out by the way it sounds. Some vending machines. To our left here is the front entrance, which is exactly as I said, it's underground. Up here you have more offices and a college security office to the left. Check this out. Lots of standing water. It's been raining hard today, which in this video you'll probably see one of the reasons why they're replacing this building. I tell you, this is so neat. Yeah, we'll go ahead and hang a left here. And just like with the Terrell building tour, you'll see these nameplates on the doors. Some of them are blank, but some of them actually have a description of what they were. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, the building had 4 stairways when it was first opened, but in this one they retrofitted it with an elevator. And this is the elevator machine room. The controller and stuff is in here. Here's an interesting one. Interactive TV classroom. Now I think they were using this for, most recently I think they were using this for like adult ESL or something like that. But straight down the hall here you'll see some of these other doorways. And just have a look here. This can tell a story of this building's earlier days. Back in the day, I think students would check out a videotape or some other form of video or audio and come down here into these little rooms here and play it and listen to it or watch it. Not 100% certain on that, but I think that's how it worked. So you see there's lots of these little doors here. I always thought this was pretty fascinating when I had first seen this floor, which I think these are all locked. Here's a second interactive TV classroom. Yes, this was the ESL. There's a big sign there, and I like how they I like how they drew out the map themselves. So yeah, that's locked, unfortunately. So it looks like it's going to be getting you hallway views on this floor. Here's an interesting room. Radio TV control area. Now, I don't think that's what it's used for now. I should mention the college does own the TV station WTVI. It's a PBS station, though it's at its own location, not too far from here. Here's a look into this little corridor. I think it's just offices in here. Here's another room. Drama department, which I'm probably... Yeah, it's locked. And of course, just like up in the library, you know, they're staging stuff to move to the Old Advanced Technology Center, which is they're renovating it to be a temporary library. But I do think the college has future plans for the building as well. Here's the other access door to the Pease level, and over here we have a wheelchair lift made by Cheney. And when you just thought things couldn't get any better, just wait, because now we're entering the Pease level. What a nasty day out there. And the old Terrell building is getting covered up in scaffolding, and it's going to be completely sealed over by a giant tent as they do asbestos abatement on the exterior. Here's some information about this area. This is the Pease level, which has the Pease Auditorium. This auditorium started out initially as a classroom or teaching space, and when you get to see inside, you'll see that it used to be sectioned off, where it could be sectioned off into 3 sections for different classes and stuff like that, but soon afterwards theater and drama took over. I think that happened, I think in the 80s they completely renovated the auditorium just for being used for shows and plays and things like that. But in earlier days, I think they even, yeah, they had to get creative with having plays in there, which they did. This auditorium has been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, the Charlotte Observer featured it in a page in the paper recently because it's getting demolished. And it will be getting replaced with a new auditorium, but just look at this space here. This space was renovated, I think, probably in the early 90s. And you can see it looks even all these years later still looks pretty decent. When Overcash was built in the mid-2000s, it sort of succeeded this area a bit. However, they never abandoned the Pease Auditorium and the stuff down here. Theater. The theater department uses them both. As a matter of fact, the Pease Auditorium just featured its last play. I think it was sometime in late November. It was the final play, and that's what the Charlotte Observer article was about. Just look at this gorgeous lobby. Isn't it amazing? Here's a painting of J. Norman Pease, which this area was named after. Here is the Pease Art Gallery, which in the mid-2000s, the Ross Gallery was built inside when the Overcash was built. So, and they still use this gallery along with the Ross Gallery. Matter of fact, there is still artwork inside there. Let's see here. You can see some paintings on the wall. Yeah, look at these ceiling tiles. Yeah, they look a bit saggy, don't they? Yeah, over the years, I think the humidity from being next to the doors has made them sag over time. That's something that happens with drop ceilings sometimes. You can see those ain't nearly as bad. These here, oh my gosh, as we get closer to the door and pan down, and you look like this, you can really tell it. Matter of fact, it's a wonder some of them haven't actually fell in. There's one that's really sagging. As a matter of fact, it's barely still up there. It's on the verge of just falling in. On the north side, you have a concession stand. And on this side, you have the box office, which I think when Overcash was completed, I don't think this box office got used quite as often. Maybe they had it open during, when they were having plays in the Pease Auditorium, but like during the day I come through here and it's always closed. They did open it for a small period of time, I think a couple of years ago, when they were doing renovation work on the ticket office in the Overcash building. Hey, look. There's even a couple of alleys on there. What do you know? Okay, everybody, today is January 3rd, 2019, and we're going to have a look inside the Pease Auditorium as it should be unlocked today. And here it is. This is the Pease Auditorium. This started out as like mixed use. It's going to get some lights on. Check out these light switches. Pretty cool, huh? So this started out as a general classroom area. You can see a spot there and a spot over there where they could actually section this off for different classes and stuff like that. But later on, theater and drama started using this area, and eventually, I believe in the 1980s, now, if I haven't mentioned this already, I believe in the 1980s, this was totally converted into a theater space. And I had to clean my lens off. It had a little bit of stuff on it, which looks a lot better now. If you look around here, so yeah, this past November was when they had the final play in this auditorium. For many, many years, Pease Auditorium has been home to many of the college's drama and theater plays. This place will definitely be missed by many, including those in the theater department who have been here for many years. And of course, in the mid-2000s, if I haven't mentioned already, the now Overcash building, when it opened, it was known as the Academic and Performing Arts Center. When it was built, it included the Halton Theater and the Ross Gallery, which sort of superseded this auditorium and the Pease Gallery. However, the college still regularly used both the Pease Gallery and the Pease Auditorium. I brought my flashlight with me for this. So let me try to get a look around here. Up there is all the stage lights. And they got the screen pulled down. Over here are some curtains. Which it appears my light might be a little bit low on charge. So we'll have to make do with what we have. On each side of the auditorium, we have these hallways. There's an exit right there. And there's actually some standing water in the floor because they've been having issues with roof leaks here. And it rained last night and this morning. There's your fresh wet spot on the ceiling tile there, and you can see rust in the light there. Definitely shows you the age of this building and the underlying condition that it's in. It's why it's getting demolished and replaced. So again, if I didn't mention, there's an exit. There's a big roll-up door there to our left. We have a piano, which I think is getting moved out. More wet ceiling. There's room 010A. Let's see if it's unlocked. Okay, that door is locked. Here's a look behind all the curtains and stuff. Well, this way we have another roll-up door. See if this door here is locked. Yeah, it's locked. Back there is some, I guess when you say behind the scenes area, they probably use it for storage. I actually been back there once or twice. Pretty cool, but unfortunately I ain't gonna be able to get it in this video. This side we have another hallway, another exit to the left. There's a doorway into the auditorium. We have two dressing rooms. And we have this classroom. Have a look at this. There's all our lights. Here we are. Check out this board. Old chalkboard. I wonder when the last time this thing was erased. Somewhere we have a leaky ceiling, I hear it. Washer and dryer, refrigerator, sink, everything's in here. I'd imagine it's probably where they used to have like a theater class. And they probably use this room for getting stuff ready for a show. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, when I was in the library, this building, unlike other vintage buildings on this campus at the time, does not have the big 5 foot by 5 foot square module ceiling. It just has your regular rectangular or square ceiling tiles. And in some rooms like this, you can see they have a mixture of rectangles and squares. Little TV up there. It's just like in the Terrell building. Right there is probably what I was hearing. Probably heard some water drop from that earlier. Yeah guys, as the building ages, you get roof leaks. You can see a lot of ceiling tiles have been replaced in here. These have probably been replaced multiple times. Another access door to the dressing room there. Tell you what guys, this room has some serious air handlers. Having to speak over the sound of the air in here. Look at that washing machine. That thing's probably from the 80s. That's an old refrigerator right there. Willing to bet these appliances haven't been used much in quite a while. At least the washer and dryer anyway. You see right there where the dryer exhaust hooks up to. And there's a cord laying on top of the dryer. This classroom even includes a spare ceiling tile. Yeah, the way this ceiling looks, you may need it. Stage lighting. Yeah, we must have a two-way switch. Yeah, there's a switch on the other side over there. I was like, man, why you gotta push that one up and the other one down? Back down toward the stage here. Yeah, look at these covers they have across the lights. Lots and lots of extension cords. Big, heavy duty ones. This takes you back in to the auditorium. Yeah, look at the design of these seats. Yeah, the handicap ones are a bit different. They're a bit more standard, but this place definitely has a lot of history behind it. You can definitely tell they've been having problems with this roof here for quite some time. I mean, that one light trougher is just, I mean, it is rusted. That ceiling tile there ain't gonna make it much longer. Safe to say it definitely smells a little musty back here. Yeah, being someone who's experienced roof leaks in my own house before, I know the struggle. They're not fun. Not fun at all. Yeah, those car filters they have sitting in that light there really makes it look kind of interesting in here. So I wonder why they chose those. Maybe they're just trying to lower the amount of light that's in here because of its, this location being right next to the stage. That's my best guess. Yeah, this is another spot that's really been struggling with roof leaks. And Those ceiling tiles, they are just slammed. It's not raining right now, but I imagine when it does start raining, you'll definitely see a lot more dripping going on. You might call me crazy, but sometimes I consider roof leaks in commercial buildings a work of art. How it affects the ceiling tiles. Different kinds of panels react in different ways. The way they form spots and stuff like that. You gotta imagine when Tropical Storm Michael passed through, or no, better yet, Florence. When Florence passed through, I bet these ceiling tiles were just soaked. Because Florence sat on top of us and dumped several inches of rain on us. For many, many years, this stage has been famous. Lots of college history. A lot of plays have taken place on this stage. However, the time has run out for the Pease Auditorium in the Hagemeyer Learning Resource Center. This 50-year-old building, built in 1968, is getting demolished. The building opened about 50 years ago. It was built in 1968 and it opened sometime in 1969. Now this area here, I don't know if it's 100% original, as I have read online that this area had gotten renovated to be used as a theater. Yeah, look at that projector up there. And all these different stage lights. See, they could use a projector in conjunction with the big screen back here to use this to play videos and movies and stuff, which is pretty neat. All these different lights. Well guys, I think this wraps it up for this amazing theater, the Pease Auditorium. It's definitely a lot smaller than the newer Holland Theater, but it definitely has a lot of stories to tell. Lots of plays have been featured here. A lot of the college's history. Before I turn off the lights, we'll take a quick look in the control room. I can't get in there, the door's locked. But they have all the different controls and stuff in there for the stage and whatnot. Yep, time to turn the lights out on the Pease Auditorium. And we're left with some lights on the stage. You just think many times those lights went off was when they was about to have a play. Okay, everybody, it's time to exit the Pease Auditorium. Such an amazing place. Lots of history here. Going away. Well, guys, I think this wraps it up for the Learning Resources Center in the Pease Auditorium. Building's been here for 50 years, going on 51 years, as we're now in 2019. College will be demolishing this building and replacing it with a new library and a new auditorium, from what I understand. So we'll take one last look at the ground level, or also known as the garden level. Look down this hallway. Have an old 1968 Otis bottom drive traction elevator. A rare kind of vintage elevator. Most of them were top drive, but you had a select few like these that were bottom drive. Definitely sad to see that thing go, though thankful that it didn't get modernized other than a mild modernization. I mean, it does have an innovation slap-on mod, but still uses the original controller from the 1960s. Still uses the original motor, original machine. Thing's a piece of art. Walk back through this way. There's this exit again. And that vending machine's running right now, and yeah, it doesn't sound all that great. Old Pepsi machine ain't doing too well, I don't think. Building has a lot of history. And down there is what used to be an entrance to a stairway, which in the mid-1970s was converted into an elevator. And of course, that's the machine room. They fitted in a Dover hydraulic unit, ingrown hydraulic elevator. These were more common, although these are getting ripped out in favor of modernizations and stuff like that. There's still quite a few of these around, still running in original condition. As some of the elevator enthusiasts community would say, probably one of the best hydraulic elevators ever designed was the mid-1970s Dovers. These things were nearly bulletproof. And this thing has definitely gotten a lot of use. Probably has traveled a lot more than the back elevator. Anyways, it's time to exit. We're going to exit to the front, get another look at this entrance here. And it looks like it started raining again outside, I think. It's definitely rained some. I tell you guys, this building is a work of art. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that they chose to demolish it and replace it, but I can understand the reasoning behind it. Of course, you know, it's a public institution like this community college. They generally have to favor the cheaper option, and the cheaper option is demolition and replacement. There's a look back inside. Another reason why they're demolishing instead of doing renovation work instead is the way this building's designed. It's just, at least for the ground level, for someone who's disabled, accessibility is not the easiest, because here you have these stairs, in the back you have stairs, and if it wasn't for the little chair lift in the back, or the handicap lift in the back between the Pease lobby and the rest of this floor, access for someone who's disabled would be pretty much impossible. This building, like the Terrell building, sits on a hill. So you have this bridge here that accesses the first floor. We're actually underground a little bit right here. And of course on the back side, the ground level is practically level with the ground. So, walk up these steps. Yeah, the time has definitely run out on this vintage building. The old Learning Resource Center. So actually, it hasn't rained yet, it's just damp out here. And there's a look at the Terrell building. Yeah, asbestos abatement has been ongoing for about a month now. I think almost every floor inside, with the exception of maybe a couple parts of the second floor, has had asbestos abatement going on. And soon the entire exterior of the building is going to go up in a giant tent. That's what the scaffolding is there for. Because they gotta, just like with Pratt Hall, they have to scrape off the exterior paint because it contains asbestos. Now I don't think the library actually has that, it's different. But yeah guys, such a beautiful building. I'd imagine the new library will take on more of a look similar to Zeiss, because that's what the college is gearing toward, is brick buildings. Walk down this ADA accessible ramp. And we'll walk down this way. Another look at the library. What's neat about the Terrell building is all the windows it had, you can easily see inside. So we'll get you some shots of what it looks like inside when they complete asbestos abatement. And for one thing, they rip out all the ceiling tiles to get access to the plenum. I don't think the ceiling tiles themselves have asbestos in them, but they have to get access to stuff above. You can see that was the former president's office back, I think, before the 2000s. I think in the 90s and earlier that was the president's office, which was later used as a conference room. That was one of the areas that got renovated. That noise you're hearing is air that's exhausting out one of the windows on the 5th floor. There's the back of the library. So yeah, they've demolished. They demolished the visual arts and ceramics annex behind Central High. The Hunter building is still there, but that's going away soon as well, I do believe. Let's get you a look back here at the Pease section. There's the plaque. I'm sorry, this is kind of jiggly. That's where we was just at earlier. Let's get you a look at Terrell. Walk up here toward the fence. Actually, before I do, zoom you guys in so you can see what you're hearing. Yep, that's it. That's air blowing out of the building on the 5th floor. Now, I'm not 100% familiar with how asbestos abatement works, but I do know they have to either create a positive or negative air pressure on the building. I forget which. I think I'm going to assume positive because that's air exhausting out. There is the former Veterans Center lab. Make sure I get that right. Yes, I do. That's the former Veterans Center lab. There's the storage closet with the window in the back. There's some offices. It's funny, those lights are off. Otherwise, this building is lit up like a Christmas tree. Almost every light is on. There's the 3rd floor. There's a section that got renovated. You can see the newer grid ceiling there. There's the former president's office, also known as later known as the 3rd floor conference room. They still have plastic covering the windows on the 4th and the 5th floor. And right there is part of the 1st floor. I think part of ITS used that little area there. Yeah, have a look at the buildings of uptown Charlotte. This is how the skies look pretty much all day today. This low-hanging clouds. Yeah, everything gets lit up here in the city. Lots of light pollution. So there's the back of Pease Auditorium. You may remember the double doors on that hallway there. Stairway to access is walkway around the library. And this is the Pease Annex. I think this is like 2 classrooms or something like that. And of course that's locked off. I don't even bother trying that. Yeah, I think that sums up for the library. Get you one last look at Terrell. Probably one of the last videos of it before the plastic wrap goes around the scaffolding. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this tour. Thanks for watching.